Pep Talk UK out here in Las Vegas for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. I'm delighted to be joined by the famous Manny Robles. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me.
It's been a long time since I've seen you out in Saudi Arabia. I think I caught up with you with Dean White outside the hotel, the Fighters Hotel, and for then we were actually there for the fight, Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua. Didn't go your way. There's been a lot of changes since that day, and it's all about Charles Martin now, on the comeback trail for another world title.
That's right. You know, we get a title eliminator come Saturday night versus Gerald Washington, which we have a great deal of respect for, and you know, we're ready for the challenge.
Reflecting back on Charles Martin, obviously he's picked up a world title before, the IBF world title. At a younger age, do you think it came all a bit too soon for him? Was he a bit too immature at the time?
I wasn't working with him at the time, but I believe it did. I've known Charles since way back in the amateurs, and you know, he's been progressing. He's a better fighter now. He's a lot more mature than he was then. So, you know, now we're looking for an opportunity. We're looking for a new opportunity, and like I said, this is a title eliminator, and that's all you can ask for is a chance, right? So this is it. You know, we got to get through Gerald Washington come Saturday night, and hopefully we get a shot at the title.
You mentioned Gerald Washington. Obviously, he's an experienced campaigner. He's been in there with Deontay Wilder, Gerald Miller, Adam Konaki. He knows his way about the ring.
No, absolutely. He's an experienced fighter, and I'm sure he's not taking this fight lightly. And, you know, we're ready for a big challenge.
I mean, what words of advice or guidance could you offer him? Obviously, you took Andy Ruiz to multiple world titles. What's the type of mentorship that you've been given to Charles Martin?
Definitely different. I mean, I can tell you that we had a good camp this time around. I can tell you that he's ready for the challenge, and may the best man win come Saturday night. I know Gerald is coming to win as well, but you know, you know, we're ready to, you know, put it all in, leave it all on the line, and go walk in that ring and execute the game plan, and hopefully things will go our way.
Does he still walk the earth like a god?
Say that again?
Does he still walk the earth like a god? Because Charles Martin, because he did an interview with Anthony Joshua many years ago, and that was a famous quote.
Like I said, he's a lot more mature now. Yeah, if you talk to him today, you'll notice you're talking to a different person, and you know, the defeats will humble you, you know, and that's what a defeat does. And when you lose, you either win or you learn. So I feel that he learned a lot from that fight. Like and you learn, again, as I say, you learn more from your defeats than you do from your victories. And I believe that he's matured, not only mentally but spiritually, and he's just a better person all the way around.
Talk to me about your former fighter, Andy Ruiz Jr. Has there been any contact since your parting ways?
No contact at all. I haven't talked to him since Saudi Arabia, since the fight. I haven't been approached by Andy. I spoke to the father about, you know, them going separate ways, but I haven't talked to him at all. I haven't seen him. I don't know much about what's about his life or what he's been doing after the fight, to be quite honest with you.
So you heard the rumors about the impending bringing in of is it Teddy Atlas?
I don't know. Like I said, I wish him nothing but the best wherever he ends up. You know, I know he's got the capability to become a world champion again. He's that talented. I know he is. I said it. And but he's just got to want it. You know, he's got to wake up and smell the coffee and get it together.
There's been a lot of talk recently about him potentially fighting King Kong, Luis Ortiz. I mean, hell of a fight, right?
Yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight for both fighters. I believe that King Kong Ortiz is definitely a talented fighter, crafty, southpaw, experienced, and I just if they do end up fighting, I believe it'll be a great fight. But Andy's got to show up, and he's got to be in shape.
You talk about discipline. Is that something, Andy Ruiz Jr. being in shape, is that something now you can see going forward? Does he realize his mistakes? Will he also?
You would have to ask him that question. I don't know. I hope he does. I hope he gets it together. I mean, like I said again, he's got the capability to become a world champion once again. He's got that talent. You know, he can take a punch. He's got a hell of a chin. He can crack. He's got a great ring generalship, but he just gotta, you know, he's gotta want it, and he's gotta show up.
He was last in the ring against Anthony Joshua. This week, Bob Arum said he's not an elite fighter, Anthony Joshua. What'd you make of those comments?
Man, I'm a big fan of Anthony Joshua. I believe he's a great fighter. You cannot take anything away from Anthony Joshua. I've been a big fan of his for a very long time, since 2011, when I seen him win the silver medal at the World Championships in Baku, Azerbaijan. He should have been a gold, by the way. I seen him win, and I became a fan since then. Not only for what he did what he does, or what he was able to do in the ring, but his personality, man, his character. He's such a humble individual, such a good person. How could you not cheer for an individual like Anthony Joshua? So I'm a big fan.
Lastly, it's fight week, and the big fight is almost just a couple of days away. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Gonna be a hell of a fight. What do you reckon?
Yes, it's going to be a great fight, just like the first fight was. I think this is going to be, rematches normally don't go as well as the first fight does, but I believe this fight is going to be a hell of a fight. Styles make fights, and as much talk as there's been with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder has one gear, which is to come forward and fight. And Tyson, Fury says he's going to go out there and fight and try to knock him out in the first couple rounds. So if he's able to go out there and fight, man, don't make sure you don't go to the bathroom. Make sure you don't get off there. You stay seated and don't miss a second of action, because I'm quite sure it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Lastly, I won't keep you for much longer. Dillian Whyte. Remember we mentioned potential fight of Andy Ruiz Jr. back in Saudi Arabia. We said it'd be a hell of a fight, and it didn't happen. Why not?
Man, styles make fights, and that's got a lot to do with the promoters. You know what I mean? Promoters have a lot to do with that. It's up to promoters to sit down and negotiate, like now with Deontay and Fury. Both promoters were able to sit down and come to the table and negotiate, talk, and look, they're going to give us a great fight once again. So it's up to promoters to come to an agreement.
Do you believe Andrew Ruiz's comment that Dillian Whyte didn't want any smoke at the time?
I know Dillian Whyte will fight. Is more than willing to fight anybody. A fighter will fight. That's what a fighter does. A fighter fights. And but again, it's not up to the fighter. It's up to the promoters. It's up to the promoter, management, and so forth and so on to come to an agreement. Had nothing to do with Dillian. I'm sure he wants to fight.
Manny Robles, I won't keep you for much longer. Thank you for your time. Pep Talk UK. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.